I will close the public comment and ask for a motion.
Motion to waive the first reading on ordinance 2020-14 as read by the mayor, and to place it on the October 26th agenda for a second reading and public hearing.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. And I would just add, for anyone that may be watching the video of this, that the Uniform Development Ordinance is, unified. I keep saying uniform. It is Unified Development Ordinance. It is on our website. If you'd like to go to the city's webpage and then just put in UDO, and it will take you to the link so that you can go in and review that if there's any items of interest in there for development or regulations and things like that around your house. So if you see something in there, we've got 2 weeks before we will be adopting the final version, so there's still time to have some changes considered. We have item B, consideration and action on adoption of resolution 2020-15, moratorium on new development applications. This is a moratorium that's been requested to be placed just so that we don't get a development application submitted before the Unified Development Ordinance is finalized, so that we don't get something coming through the system now that is under the old regulations. So that's what this moratorium is about. And is there a motion?
Motion to adopt resolution 2020-15, moratorium on new development applications.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Solange was louder, so I'm going to go with Solange on the second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. Next, we have item C, consideration and recommendation on resolution 2020-16, amendment to table 2, future land use categories and corresponding zoning districts of the Snellville 2040 comprehensive plan. Is there a motion?
Motion to postpone recommendation and consideration on resolution 2020 and put it on the agenda for the October 26th meeting.
Okay, there's a motion to postpone. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. And before we take the vote, what we're doing here, this is an amendment to table 2, which will go, it refers to the Unified Development Ordinance. So we'll postpone this so that it gets adopted at the same time as the UDO at the next meeting. Okay, with that, any other comments from council? Then we'll call for the vote. All in favor, raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. Now we have item D, another first reading ordinance 2020-13, consideration and recommendation on amendment to the City of Snellville official zoning map. This again it's an ordinance change, so this does require 2 readings, and then this will go on our next agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to waive the first reading of ordinance 2020-13 and place it on the agenda of the October 26th, 2020 meeting.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. Next, we have item E, consideration and action on approval of Series 2020A and Series 2020B revenue bond parameters. This is on the agenda as one item, but we are going to take 2 separate votes on this. So first, it's a little bit of a long heading, but I'll read that first and then we'll take a motion. A resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Snellville, Georgia, to authorize the execution of a contract with the Downtown Development Authority of Snellville, Georgia, in connection with the issuance of Downtown Development Authority of Snellville, Georgia Town Center Project taxable revenue bonds, Series 2020A, in a maximum aggregate principal amount not to exceed $20 million, to authorize the mayor, city attorney, and other officers and officials to take further actions as are necessary to provide for the issuance and delivery of such bonds and for other purposes. That is the heading. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to approve the resolution as read. Is there a second?
Second.
Let me just give you a quick explanation, and I'll open the floor if any council members want to make a comment as well. And, well, we can open to public comment as well. But what we're doing here in these two resolutions is the city is planning on issuing bonds in order to pay for some of the city improvements in the Grove Town Center plan. It's going to be a mix of taxable bonds and also some non-taxable bonds. And we don't know exactly what that mix is going to be between the two. So what we are doing is passing two resolutions, one for taxable bonds and one for non-taxable bonds. Both amounts are going to be not to exceed $20 million. We are not planning on issuing $40 million worth of bonds. It's just that, not knowing the split, we're doing the maximum amount that we could possibly, or that we're willing to issue in bonds for both the taxable and non-taxable. Then when we come back and do the final issuance of the agreements, we will have the right numbers in those two resolutions, and it'll be split between the taxable and non-taxable. But together, it won't exceed $20 million. And hopefully it'll be less than that. So with that explanation, we have a motion and a second. Any council members wish to make a comment?
I just want to emphasize in each of these, there's an aggregate maximum of $20 million for both. So there's no wiggle room. It's $20 million maximum as stipulated.
Okay. All right, with that, and it's public hearing, so I'll open the floor if there's anyone who would like to make a comment. Okay, seeing none, then I'll close the public comment section and take a vote. All in favor, please raise your right hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. So now for the second part, we have a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Snellville, Georgia, to authorize the execution of a contract with the Downtown Development Authority of Snellville, Georgia, in connection with the issuance of Downtown Development Authority of Snellville, Georgia Town Center Project Revenue Bonds, Series 2020B, in a maximum aggregate principal amount not to exceed $20 million. To authorize the mayor, city attorney, and other officers and officials to take such further actions as are necessary to provide for the issuance and delivery of such bonds and for other purposes. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve is read.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. Okay, that ends our public hearing for this evening. We have nothing on the consent agenda and no old business, so now we'll go into new business. We have item A, consideration and action on proposed fee agreement with Powell and Edwards attorneys. I have a professional relationship with Powell and Edwards attorneys. I do some work for their firm, so I'm going to recuse myself and step out the door, and Mayor Pro Tem Emanuel will take over.
Item A is consideration and action on a proposed fee agreement with Powell and Edwards attorneys, who are our city attorneys. And the fee agreement has not changed in many, many years. And they do an excellent job. And I think there's really, we've had debate about this, and there's no debate, there's only agreement. So I'm open for a motion on the consideration of the new proposed fee agreement for Powell and Edwards.
Motion to approve the fee agreement with Powell and Edwards attorneys.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please indicate by raising whatever hand you feel comfortable with. It's 5 in favor. No opposed. Would you please ask the mayor to return?
Okay. All right, now we'll go under new business, item B. I nominate Carrie Hetherington to the Planning Commission Post 5 with an expiration date of June 30th, 2021. So that's my nomination. If you would like to confirm, Carrie, if you could please raise your hand. I have 6 in favor, so none opposed. Welcome to the Planning Commission.
Are you going to swear her in now, or are we going to wait?
I don't have the oath, so we'll get you on the next meeting. Yeah, she'll be swearing at us after that. Okay, now we have item C, consideration and action on award a bid for the stormwater drainage projects PW 200812 to the Dickerson Group, Inc. Is there a motion?
Motion to award the stormwater drainage project PW 2008-1212 to the Dickerson Group in the amount of $893,586.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. Next, we have item D, consideration and action on award of bid for the street patching and milling RFP PW 2008-19 to Atlanta Paving and Concrete Construction, Inc. Is there a motion?
Motion to award the bid for street patching and milling RFP PW 2008-19 to Atlanta Paving and Concrete Construction in the amount of $499,265.30.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, was that Dave? There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. Next, we have item E, consideration and action on award of bid for lawn care maintenance, RFP PW 2008-26 to Russell Landscape LLC. Is there a motion?
Motion to award the lawn care maintenance RFP PW 2008-26 to Russell Landscape LLC in the amount of $45,180.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. So that brings us to the end of our business meeting. So we'll go to council reports, and we'll start with Councilmember Solange Destang.
Good evening. As we all know, that early voting has started today, and it will end on October 30th. The times for early voting will be from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the early voting locations. And there is a website that you can go to, which is www.mvp.sos.ga.gov, and it will list all the sites for you, so you can go and do your early voting. And on that website, it will also ask you to input your birthday and your residence county, so it can find your location for you. The second thing I want to say is that we do have a high school football game that's coming up this Friday. It will be a home game against Grayson and South Gwinnett High School. Yes. And it will start at 7:30. And of course, like I said, it's a home game, so it's going to be at the school. And I also want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Solange. Councilmember Warner?
Can I follow you tonight? I'll do my best. It's always hard. I have the honor and opportunity to be a participant in the Snellville Citizens Police Academy this fall, and all I can say is it has reinforced my belief that police officers are underpaid and they deserve a lot more respect than they're getting, because every single exercise that we participate in also reinforces my decision-making ability is not near what it needs to be in order to be a police officer. The Snellville Citizens Police Academy program is open to all citizens, whether they are within the city of Snellville or whether they're out in the county, the hinterland somewhere. And for those people who may not have the highest opinion of our police officers and our first responders in our country right now, I would highly recommend that you join us in the spring class. I'll make sure it's advertised, and learn more about what the police officers deal with every single day. And I'm fairly certain it would change your opinion on many of the things that we see in the news. And that's it. You all have a good night. Thank you for coming out. Make sure you vote.
Thank you, Todd. Councilmember Christy Linsky?
Snellville Youth Commission will have a virtual meeting this Saturday at 10 a.m. Our special guests are going to be County Commission District 3 candidates, Democrat Jasper Watkins, as well as the Republican candidate Ben Archer. So we're looking forward to that and having some tough questions posed from the Youth Commission members. Please don't forget to get your flu shot. I got mine on Sunday and I did not even cry, so it's a very easy process. And I also had the opportunity this past week to donate my first COVID-19 convalescent plasma, and that hopefully will go towards someone to save lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Councilmember Gretchen Schultz?
Well, first I want to welcome Carrie Hetherington to the Planning Commission. It's so nice to see a younger generation stepping up to the plate and getting involved. Kurt and I early voted today, and believe me, the lines are long. Let me just tell you, be prepared to wait a good long while. We went to the fairgrounds, and it was long line. We have our third Saturday extended season farmers market this Saturday, and so I just wanted to remind everybody of that, because our vendors greatly appreciate you coming to the market and supporting them. Thank you.
Thank you, Gretchen. And Mayor Pro Tem Emanuel?
Go out and vote, and before you do, if you go to the Snellville Proud Facebook page, there's an entry there where you can click on the link and you can find out what the duration of the wait is at each of the locations. So you may want to move your schedule around a little bit.
Take a chair, too.
So you don't have to wait in line unnecessarily if it's a more convenient time. And we're planning on another cleanup on Oak Road for the week after this coming weekend. It'll be a Saturday. Brian will get the message out. So if anybody wants to come and pick up litter, you're more than welcome.
Thank you, Dave. And I'd like to mention the past two meetings, you might notice that our city clerk, our trusty city clerk, Melissa Arnold, isn't here with us again this meeting. She had some surgery a couple weeks ago on her throat, and so she's at home resting up and, healing up after the surgery. So if you will keep her in your prayers, we would certainly appreciate that. Melissa's kind of the glue that keeps us all together here and make sure we're signing the right things in the right places. And also on talking about the election issues, what Solange brought up on the Secretary of State's website, if you go to that MVP and plug in, you not only find your polling locations, but there's a sample ballot there as well. And I know there's some amendments on the ballot as well. So it gives you a chance. You could print it out and make sure you know who you're voting for, and make sure you've got some time to understand what the amendments are before you get in there. And it'll hopefully make your experience go a little quicker. Christy's show and tell here. She's showing the sample ballot here. And then also, too, that link is on Gwinnett County, and I saw it on Facebook and a couple of different places, but it's on the Gwinnett County Elections website that you can see the different polling locations and the wait times, and they update those frequently throughout the day. So if you're kind of between a couple of different places, you could look to find one that hopefully will suit you at the time you need to go. And that's all I have for my mayor's report, so I will close that and open the floor to public comment. If anyone would like to make any comments, please step forward and give your name and address for the record.
No, this isn't easy. Kathy Emanuel, 1313 Temple Johnson Road. I was just made aware today when y'all are talking about voting, if a citizen is 75 or over, they are requested not to wait in line. They are to go to the front of the line, and they will be taken in. So I don't think we have anybody here that applies to that, but you might know someone. I had a friend of mine who is over 75 and went to vote and obviously had to stand in line for a great deal of time, and she found out afterwards that there is an exception for that. So I just thought I'd pass that out there in case anybody knows about it, because I wasn't aware of it before. 75 or over, okay, great. So just so we know that.
Thank you, Kathy. Anyone else?
You're not going to live that long, so
Okay, seeing no other public comments, since council's not supposed to be commenting right now. Then I will call for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. We are done. Thank you all for coming out tonight.